what I have learned from traveling a lot is the fact of getting together objects, but still trying them to make it not look like thematic, like, oh, I went traveling and I bought all this stuff. I try to integrate them into the space to still have a modern, clean sense to it. Like in the bedroom, the table I bought in Indonesia, we designed the atmosphere. The window on the back, you see it, is an Indian jolly, and it's made out of marble. And from the bathroom, you see through it to the view, which was the south of, looking south from the village. See right there. Look at the color of the skirts, the back wall. This is a library for Liberty National Country Club, and I had been in Namibia, and the sand there is all that color. So when I started to design this, I was inspired by that. Indian, French. These are from Burma, and they're tops. They're big wooden tops. You know, photographs. Again, how art in this particular room, the painting came after the room, but it really tied so well. They bought the painting because they reminded them of the room. They paid a lot of money for the distance scene, but here you see top and bottom again, inspiration. I mean, when you look at this painting, which is in Amsterdam, you start to look at the colors and you start to look at the depth and how the tones play one with the other. And it really, it's such an easy way of designing a room. These are the two other books, and I would like to now pass you on to Too Quick. Stretch it. Keep not, yeah, right. It's interesting. We know each other for a long time, and I find that Wendy, in what she does for the New Magazine and New York Magazine, is somebody who has a pulse on what current design is all about. I mean, where most magazines are looking for things that are more timeless, I think what she's doing is seeing what is the trend, what are people doing, what is making them live the way that they are, and she brings it to the magazine, which is really quite unique in this city and in the magazines that are put out by the different publishers. But I think that what she's going to talk about, whether she wants to or not now, is about the new magazine that she has just launched.
And we do two big design issues a year. We do a fall and a spring, and this year we launched a standalone magazine called Design Hunting. And the reason we called it Design Hunting is because that's what I do. I hunt every day. I'm scouting for stories, and we started a newsletter called Design Hunting. And the newsletter, which you all must please sign up for and like it on everything, like that. The newsletter is so kind of, it has a really good following, so the decision was made to do a print magazine, and it's kind of backwards because everybody's going into, you know, online, but I'm very happy to say we now have great support for a print magazine, which I think is very important in design. I think that you want a magazine, you want to be able to reference it, you want to be able to go back to it. So we put together this magazine in 2 months. 2 months to do this magazine, and it is a first. So we have two issues to come in 2013. And what we decided was to do something hopefully that was filling a window that wasn't out there. And we wanted to do an aspirational and inspirational magazine showing projects that are very New York centric to address challenges and you know, dreams that New Yorkers have design-wise, but also to give them a guide. And our guide in the back of this magazine, and it was a very huge ordeal doing the guide, as you can only imagine, because people were left out who should be in it, people were in it who shouldn't be in it, not too many, and we learned a lot, of course, as you do, doing a first, excited about going forward with this because there are so many opportunities to cover design that is specific to New York City, and all of you work in New York City, so you know the challenges and you know the opportunities. And I think what Vincent mentioned, what I have worked at many magazines. I've worked at House and Garden, I've worked at Harper's Bazaar, I've worked many, many publications, and I think what's very key when you're scouting for stories is to know your audience and to know your magazine. And New York Magazine is a news magazine, it's not a shelter magazine, it's a magazine that is sort of a culture read, and it's a read about what's going on in the city right now. So that when I do our next issue, which will be in October, it won't be a standalone magazine, it will be a regular New York magazine. You have so many people here.
I know, when you were making, but you break it, you own it. That's how we do these things here. Yeah, really.
Nothing's breakable. But what I do, what I'm doing right now, is I'm just going out into the city, literally making appointments, meeting designers, going to their workrooms, their studios, a project that they've just finished, and I'm hunting, I'm scouting, and I'm seeing what might be emerging that people are kind of really fascinated by now, and so a theme starts to emerge, because we always do a themed issue. And so I think that for you as designers, looking at the different options, if you're interested in publication, to think who you're interested in as a publication. Let's say if it's Elle Decor, if you've got a project that you think this is really maybe an architectural digest project, because Margaret Russell is so brilliant. She knows who her audience is. She knows who her reader is, what they're looking for. And each really, really good editor, I feel, has a very strong sense of their magazine's identity. And I think that readers get confused if all of a sudden you start to show things that you don't believe in. I think believing in what you're doing, and it's true for you, of course. You may, of course, be working in different styles for different clients, but at the very core, you're not doing something you don't believe in. And what makes the work challenging and sometimes very difficult is to find things that I think are right for the New York Magazine reader, because those readers are very discerning, they're sophisticated, they've got a big economic range, you know, young kids who have their first apartment to very sophisticated readers who have a lot of income to spend, and they go, like Vincent, they're looking for the best of the best. So I would say that the joy of my job always is to meet people and is to work with people, and when I do actually do a story, to work with whoever it is. I'm not the kind of editor who goes in and sort of mandates things. We work together because we're not a shelter magazine. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm going to try to extract the personality of the person and of the designer, and I'm also looking for the most personal expression of the person, because I think nothing's more fascinating than seeing how a person lives. I mean, to me, that is the most interesting journey, because you learn. I go into a house and I really feel, I know if this house is really loved, if somebody really lives in it, or if they don't really love it, and that house has been done because they think that would be a good color and that would be a good painting to buy. But there's no soul and passion, and I think a house really is like a person. You meet it and it tells you a lot. And that's kind of where I'm at, just looking for, looking for work. I mean, I really am out on the subway all day long, just scouting. That when I'm not writing and when I'm not actually putting these stories to bed and producing them, and but we have a very fast turnaround. So if you have any projects that you think are ready, unlike a monthly, we can turn things around very quickly. I can shoot a project and we can run it, let's say, in 2 weeks. I mean, that's how quickly we're closing issues every week. So, you know, our turnaround is very fast, and that's a great advantage because you can see work and you can, and I also do an online design hunting where I do space of the week every week, and I do first look. So I'm looking at new work in studios, and I'm looking at new restaurant design. It can be anything, really. So
from a designer's point of view, you know, I always have people come to me and say, oh wow, how do you get your things published? And the biggest complaint that I hear from editors is when people send them work that does have nothing to do with their magazine. And I know that from my end, when I finish a job, I look at it and I say, well, where do I think this is going to fit? Or does this really deserve being in a magazine? And not that it's not pretty and the client loves it, but they're always, whatever the publication, they're always looking for some sort of muse, some sort of direction. And if those spaces don't have it, if it's just a room with furniture that looks nice, chances are that they're not going to publish it because they have limited amount of pages, you know, in the well of the magazine. And some magazines are publishing 6 times a year. So they have to be really very discerning in what they show. I mean, do you find that you get things that are...
Well, I think what Vincent mentioned is so key because what I always look for is a story. If something really has a story, because it's about storytelling for me. And I think that if somebody is not interested in really, and a lot of people don't want their houses published. And I tend to, I wouldn't say I harass them, but I do if I feel that they're shy only because they think I'm going to be one of those editors that goes in and goes, we have to photograph soup to nuts, everything. Well, I don't feel that. I feel, again, the essence that is telling the story about the person and why they live like that. I think the decisions people make are just the most fascinating thing. So I think Vincent is right. You know, if you've done a project and you think this is great for this client, it's not perhaps I would have made other decisions had all these different variables been at work. It's a case-by-case study, you know, it really is. So I think that that's the key to that.
And I think that if you send something to a magazine that you don't think it's a 10, let's call it, that may be the only time that they'll look at your work. So whatever you send in, you have to figure this is, you know, and I think we all, you know, there are children, you know, we finish those jobs and we put our blood in it, we have to deal with the client, we have to do all that. So we love it, but it doesn't always necessarily, as I said, make it to fit in the magazine. Do you all have any questions? Ah, good. Okay. Oh, there's one question.
Well, me personally, I always go and look at what I publish. I never ever. I mean, I will ask for photographs. Now I've gotten a little savvy because I used to go and scout everything. First, I will ask for photographs. Then I will go see it. But I feel that it's expensive to get it photographed professionally, and unless you want those pictures for yourself, don't do that, because the magazine is going to pay for a photographer to go and photograph your project if they choose it. So I think you don't want to spend extra money making all these pictures that you're hoping will get published. Right. It's different if it's for you, then that's worth it, absolutely. But
my other question is before and after, are you interested in?
Very much. Fascinating.
I have one more.
Yes,
Are you
absolutely.
only on the island of Manhattan, or are you saying comprehensively New York City?
No, you know, it's comprehensively New York City, everywhere. And also, I do believe our last fall issue was an urban global issue. So we showed projects, urban residential projects throughout the world. And we may actually be doing that again. So we are expanding our horizons outside of the city limits.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Any? Yes.
how can we, instead of sending you things which you're really not interested in for this particular publishing, how would we know what you're interested in? Is there some way to find out a little more about what you specifically like to see during a period of time? Or is it kind of just like, send me what you got and I'll deal with it?
Send me what you have. And also just, if you have a project, I look at everything. And all you have to do is email me and just give me some photographs, and I look at every photograph. Absolutely.
How often will the design publication publish?
This standalone magazine will come out twice next year. It will be in March and it will be in September, on top of our regular design issues, which will be in May and October. And then we do design stories every month about.
Also on your website, is it not?
Okay, anything we do in the print magazine is automatically on Design Hunting or Great Rooms in, wait, let's start that again. Yeah, everything in the magazine is online. My Design Hunting newsletter every week, that is special to Design Hunting. So it is not in the print magazine, it is only online.
But if it's on my website already, not publish it?
No, I will publish it. I mean, here's the dilemma now for us, because all the editors want exclusive.
Yeah.
Well, it's really hard now, because all these websites, I looked at something today, and it was on Modelista, and I thought, oh no. But I think the way we will photograph it, and the way, and you know, I think we can't compete with blogs. I mean, because when we do it for print, it will look really different. So, yeah.
Anything else? No? Yeah.
I have a question for you, Vincent. Where is your favorite place to travel?
Oh, the one I've never been to. I want to go to Mongolia. I've been dying to go there. And you can go with the tribe, not the tribes, but with the nomads, and go into the desert while they herd all the cattle and all sheep or whatever it is they have. So I wanted to do that. But Burma is wonderful. Iran was amazing. I mean, Borneo is amazing. Thailand, Bali, Paris, London. London. But anywhere. I mean, if I don't have to be here working, I'd rather be someplace else. You know. Well, enjoy yourself. Thank you very much.